Okay, so first of all, there are a lot of things that I was thinking about, and so the first thing that came to my mind was something, and I hope it's okay to share my screen real quick, and I'm trying to see if I did not lose myself in the Zoom windows. I think I found myself. Okay, was actually, let me just go like backwards. Was this is what I was, this is what like kept me thinking about some of the things that we all are doing. Oh, it did go back real quick. Okay, so the signing of executive order on September 12th to launch this, and which is, I think is it $2 billion that is being funded? I think $2 billion is the amount. And within the state of Maryland, there are already meetings happening between the industry representatives. And recently there was an MD Bio conference in which they were having discussions. I heard from people in industry, like some other people who are in industry, they're having discussions on how to get a slice on that money. And I'm going to share this with you, but this is like the link to this. And when I went to the link, what I found was one of the initiatives was actually education. So I would love to take you to that link if possible, hopefully. So that's the fact sheet. So I just wanted to go to the announcement directly. And what I found was, of course, there are specific initiatives. We would be expecting that, growing biomanufacturing, expanding those opportunities, many of these things. So of these, the fifth one is the one that caught my attention, which is to train a diverse skilled workforce. And it's mentioning everything from community college to graduate school. So I am not sure how and when the money is coming, but for us to have this information is good. And also I saw another piece which was written by someone in BioBuzz. Is everyone familiar with BioBuzz? If not, then maybe Laurie can share a little bit more about BioBuzz. Is everyone familiar with BioBuzz, maybe? Mm-hmm. Okay. So it is an organization that does a lot of things. Among that, one of them is, of course, it kind of acts as a connection between, different industries and workforce and industry in the area where, in Montgomery County, in the I-270 corridor. And so I had a little chat with Chris Frew, and I said, very nice piece, and we should talk about this. So, I thought I would state this in the beginning of the meeting so that if, yes, thank you, Laurie. Yes. So if there are any pointers that you want to bring for that conversation, I want to not only have a conversation with him, which is actually going to be more like 30 to 45 minutes, but also invite him to this meeting. So I wanted to ask you, because, I can take some talking points, but would love to know from you, what should be the things that we can bring? Because in last year, we talked about like, more acceptability with industry would help us increase enrollment, get more internships, and help the students get jobs. So are there specific things that you want to bring in? You can bring it throughout the meeting. This can be brought up, this can be brought up. That's why I'm going to. So anything that you want to share now, I can write it down here, right here. Share with Chris. Yes, to share with Chris. Yeah. So I was actually going to initiate this conversation saying that, there are 6 biotechnology programs in the state of Maryland. And of course, he probably knows the programs, but I wanted to bring to his attention, like these are the, maybe some of the newer programs he may not know, but just telling him about the programs and saying like, hey, we have this meeting, and would you like to come and hopefully meet all the community college program coordinators and directors, and learn from them what exactly they are doing for the workforce and how can we bridge the disconnect. For me, the most important thing is there is some sort of a disconnect at some places, not for everyone, not to all, like not everyone has the same kind of disconnect, but we know we can have more workforce, but just that we need more enrollment in the programs, and we need to grow our programs in a certain way that can be helpful and because Maryland is drawing employment from around the country, but there is a lot of potential within Maryland. That's what BioBuzz article is all about. There is a lot of potential within Maryland. So anything that you can think about, we can talk to
So
him.
I don't know if you were going to talk about this separately. Yeah, I mean, I know what, like, you know, this and the Washington Post have said about it, and there's really no details yet, at least that I've seen. What I'm hearing Marilyn talk about right now is the Bio Hub, and that's another thing where I'm not truly sure any of us really know what it is, but I don't know. I truly don't know if they're planning to maybe, I don't know, fund BioHub from this or something else or whatever. That's what I've heard mostly from the state and from Montgomery County. I was at a bioinnovation conference last week, and there was a bit of talk about that. But
yes,
I wasn't there at day one of it because I had to teach, but day two, I did not hear anything about Biden's initiative. I think just because it's not real yet, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it would be better to be ahead of the game and saying that we are interested. Not only that, Laurie, he was praising about the BioTrack programs in Montgomery College. He was talking about the boot camp in Frederick College, which is like, which is, it's extremely exciting because, you know, they're, you know, these programs that you guys are working on are liaising with other people, and, you know, they are already in limelight. But then there are other programs which are also coming up. For example, you know, there is the, you know, there are in Baltimore City, whether it's in, you know, like Cecil and of course, Jackie's program in Hartford. All of these programs also, you know, we need to slowly bring them in limelight and say that, you know, we are all connected, we all work together. And so that's what I thought would get his attention, because you guys, I think he knows you all really well. I'm pretty sure, Laurie, you have met Chris and you are familiar with him, right?
Yes, but so BioBuzz is, if it's not for profit, it operates when people pay them. Right. So part of the reason you're hearing about BioTrain and BioTrack, which for people who don't know, those are our non-credit biotech initiatives. You notice you're not hearing about the credit program because we're not paying Chris.
Of course.
I mean, we don't have a budget for it, but the non-credit, I'm not sure if they have a budget or not, but they're, Mark Nardone from BioTrack knows Chris well, and I believe is using the marketing power of BioBuzz correctly. I don't have a lot of money, so I haven't been paying them, so we don't see mentions. It's that simple.
Yeah. And Cindy, I think, said something. Cindy, you can even share your thoughts here on this, like, you know, are you just, you want to, you put it
Sorry, I just lost my screen. I was trying to write down some notes there. Yeah, at the high school level, we have very little connection with industry at all in my program, or really with the community colleges, which Amrina knows I've complained about this for many years.
Right. Yes.
We have a lot of connection with the four-year universities, but I'd like to see both of those things happen. It seems to me it would be good to just even have a, I don't know, a face-to-face couple hours with all the educators and some of the industry and some of the governmental people to just talk about what connections we could make.
Yeah, agreed.
Because I feel very disconnected from them.
And we can do it in two ways, actually. You know, one of them is the Maryland Collegiate STEM Conference, which I'm just going to keep writing some of the things on the notes. Maryland Collegiate STEM Conference is held once a year. Okay, maybe I should write the full form. And this particular conference does bring all the STEM people together. But like I was mentioning last time, if you want, we all could meet, we all could plan to meet during this conference. And that would be like a good timing, because we are able to meet. I mean, of course, it's a conference, our students might come, they might present posters. Savita is always there. Some of the other people are there too. So it would be a good chance to meet, and we could set aside some time for us all to meet and maybe invite even someone for a face-to-face meeting. And high school is very much welcome, and it's even free for them, I think. I'm not 100% sure because it does change with time. And I'm an ex-officio member in the committee. So as I come to know of that conference, I will let you know so you can save the date. It typically held in the last week of April or first week of May. And so we meet typically twice a year, and this would be like perfect if you could just make it to that one. So that's one thing. And just like I said, we can call, if we are doing a virtual meeting, we can even have Chris come for that meeting and maybe share some thoughts, or someone like him who is in connection with workforce as well as industry. And sometimes getting some attention is good, because if he starts giving some attention, and then if he or others start giving attention, then it's something like you just need to start the fire, and then everyone starts getting more noticed. All the 6 programs start getting more noticed. So the other things that we were gonna talk about was internship. So I thought it would be a good idea for us to go around, talk about internships and apprenticeship. And I did put down a list, but I will save my list for the end. And if you guys want to share a little bit about internships, that might give some of the programs which may not have so many internship opportunities, think about like how we can get the ball rolling. Especially, sometimes high school, like Cindy said, and like Heidi mentioned, same thing. So if we can start, maybe anyone can start and talk about the internship opportunities, and I'm trying to make some notes as much as I can.
So I'll start. So pretty much every mid or large size biotech company has internships, and they often have, year-long, semester-long, summer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if it's industry, I believe you'll have to be 18 years of age, work eligible, and there'll be requirements like that. For Montgomery College students, honestly, we don't have a lot of students who do internships, but that's because the majority of our students just get jobs. So they often aren't actually doing internships. There's a couple of caveats to that. NIST has a program with Montgomery College. And so we sort of have I don't know what we have. We have a person who coordinates it. That's what we have. And it's not me. So that actually works well. And I think we've got one student right now doing a NIST internship. NIH, as you probably know, has a summer internship program, SIP, has a high school internship program that I don't know the acronym for, and then has the CCEP, the CCSEP, Community College Summer. Anybody remember what it stands
Enrichment
for?
program.
Thank you. Enrichment program specifically for community college students. A couple of years ago, that CCEP was like this marvelous little hidden gem that nobody was applying for, but I have a feeling everybody's applying for it. NIH Community College Day will be held virtually this year, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. The registration site is up. I'll find it in a minute, but it's very simple to find. NIH Community College Day 2022. Free registration. They try very, very hard to do a good job with it. And they also probably will record things. So you might be able to watch last year's. I actually haven't looked. Okay. Then, okay, so I'm not sure in terms of high schools. We have a couple of tiny biotech companies, and I'm almost using air quotes when I say that. So they're incorporated. They don't have a product. They don't have any money. They got a couple of people and, a small space. Those folks are usually desperate for interns. And what I mean by that is if somebody's willing to work for free for them, they are more than happy to welcome them in. we have had a couple of students do that, but it's usually a really special case. I don't know how they feel about high school students, though, just because I don't know how much training, I don't know how much time they're able to invest. I worry that they can become exploitative and they are happy for free labor. So we have I don't know if it's a policy, but in general, a student who's performing an internship from my program is supposed to either get paid or credit. But we have the occasional sort of none of the above. And this is typically a student who's not work eligible, for example, an international student. Sometimes we just ask the company to pay the 2 credits of tuition so they can get the credit. Sometimes they won't even do that. But if the student is really, really interested in it, I have had a couple of students go do that sort of thing. And it might be an option if you have a small, hopefully not exploitative, little desperate biotech nearby you, or research lab or something like that. And I can't think of anything else right now.
We used to have kids at local small companies fairly frequently. We had, we would place 1 or 2, and the companies keep being eaten up by other companies. So whatever it was called, and then people leave. We started having problems with, the problem with people under 18 is usually the liability and insurance issues.
Right.
Our community liaison, who's supposed to be taking care of that, it's been many years now since we had somebody who was really right on top of those things. Our kids are almost never paid. They get credit for it, but and I kind of feel like in the high school level, because I expect they come fairly trained in terms of their hands, but they need help with understanding what's going on. And I do some of that, and the mentor does some of that. I do feel like it's not so exploitative, but then usually if they do an internship in high school, I expect their next one to be paid. It's kind of how I talk to them about it. But yeah, we've had a real problem with getting them into these tiny companies, partially because people move around and then we lose our contact, and partially because of that liability and insurance.
Good point. Definitely good point. Yeah. Laurie, remind me how many students are in your program, because yours is the largest program in the state. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we are. And we had 206 registrations in biotech courses this semester, but it's about 180 students, I think. That's students could be taking more than one course, and then I'm sure there's some students who aren't taking, about 180, I think.
That's a great number.
Yes, yeah, we're still complaining and we still want more, but yes, we're happy. One of the things that's bumped our numbers up lately, so the college overall is down. Biotech was holding steady through it, which of course we were spinning as, hey, in this environment, that's growth, We now have 2 early college cohorts. And these are the first 2. And early college, if you don't know what that is, students stop going to high school for grades 11 and 12, double dip, take all college courses, and come out with a high school diploma and an associate's degree. And we've got 9 in each cohort. We have room for a maximum of 12 in each cohort, and it's some sort of competitive.
And it's like a pipeline then, just feeding into your program. That's really nice.
Well, it is. I don't know how much it'll be feeding into industry jobs. I'll be able to tell you that in May after the first cohort graduates.
I see. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts for like what Laurie mentioned? Like, do you have any questions about Montgomery College program or any other things that can help you, understand how, that is one of the very good programs. I actually visited Laurie's facility like literally 1 week before the pandemic started. And, and we both were so terrified, but we still met. And thank you so much, Laurie. It was just so fun visiting your facility. It was just awesome. Very nice.
Yeah, if anyone would like to visit, please do. We have a GMP training suite, and it's not real, but it looks quite real. So
yeah,
that's good. One thing I have noticed with some of the local high schools where I am in Montgomery County is they're asking me to provide internships, and I'm like so stretched. I actually got an email from a student last week that I haven't, like Friday, yesterday or Thursday, I haven't replied to it yet. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I did offer, but this isn't biotech. I'm a journal editor. So I actually offered, because the guy was very persuasive and would not leave me alone, a copy editing internship. I had one person apply, and that person, I assume, found something they preferred because they never even told me they wouldn't take it. So from my point of view, that was actually, I wasn't so happy about that, but okay.
Yep, definitely. And I think some of these things will definitely increase with more money coming in. I can only hope for an expansion. And of course, we can all remember, think about visiting each other's facility if something is closer, like Montgomery or Frederick. I think Montgomery especially has, I have yet to visit Frederick. So maybe I'll, visit Savita sometimes, but I'm just saying with Lori, the facility is such excellent that if you're, in high school, if you have high school students, they would be pretty excited to see that. That would be a good thing for them to see. So since
right now, what's going on in the building is a bunch of high school students actually, and I don't know, they're calling it Youth Day. I don't exactly know what it is, and I don't know how many people there are, but they said 2 groups, cybersecurity, biotech, and then they swap.
Okay.
And then I think we get a chance at their parents at 3:30 or something, but Colin said he would be here for that.
And you can feel free to share if you have any, Lori or anyone has any high school recruiting events where they have like a day of experiments or day of fun or something, or even few hours or a weekend hour, please share so that we can have, everyone in the group know about it.
I would like actually to request anybody, especially in Central Maryland, I'd love to post posters about the community college things. HCC used to have something and they no longer have anything even really a little bit close to what we do. So it's really helpful if I can have something that goes well on a wall. 95% of our kids maybe 90% of our kids go to 4-year colleges, but we definitely get kids that we walk through how to do it through the community college associate's degree pathway. And that would be nice for me to have.
All right. And then we'll move on to Savita for information. And I know Savita is doing a lot of exciting stuff. So Savita, please share with everyone.
So we just started a new high school internship program, and that is thankful to Amrita. She gave us a very great instructor. So this program works through the work-based learning office in the home schools. So students get 2 high school credits. They come to FCC for for 5 days a week from 12 to 3. So we just started it and it's going really well. The students are very engaged and they love it. And, we taught them just the basics about biotech, the regulatory aspects. That was our 2 classes. We kind of went through that because they're here every day. So we have a lot of time with them. And then now they're working on their own, they have planned their own research projects. And they're starting to think about what they need to order, and now they'll start working. And we hope that they'll have good results by the end of the semester, and we'll be able to present it in the Maryland STEM conference next year. So this is, again, because high schools, there are no opportunities. That's why we thought about this program and we've launched it. Obviously, it is in collaboration with our schools. So it's with the FCPS system. And this application is open to all Frederick high schools. So this time we had 13 students that are participating from all schools all over Frederick. And we are going to run this again in the spring, and the recruiting for that has begun. Any questions? Sorry.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
The idea was that we have an apprenticeship program that's also going really well. So we wanted to, because we don't have many students in our program, so we don't, and companies are looking for students, we don't have students to recommend because Either they're already apprentices or they have jobs. So we needed a steady pipeline of high school students who would come into the program that we could recommend for the apprenticeship. So that's how this program originated. But this batch of students that I have now, the 13, are really highly motivated, very, very ambitious students. So they are not going to come to FCC or the apprenticeship program. But the hope is that they go back to their school and tell this to the other kids, and they will come eventually, and we would have a pipeline of students. But we have 10 apprentices in our program, and we have 4 companies, Lonza, Kite, Biologic, and Texel, who are our partners. And they're all looking for apprentices to hire.
Can you share the difference between apprenticeship and internship if you are running both of them?
Okay, so internship is short term, right? It's just a semester long or summer long. But apprenticeship is like a 3-year contract that the student has with the company, and it's through the Maryland Department of Labor. And they get hired as a normal employee. They get all their pay, normal benefits, vacation time, and the company funds their entire education for the associate's degree. So they come to us for the education part, and they're getting their hands-on the job training at their job site. So it's a real advantage for the students. And thankfully, the companies are looking for apprentices. So, we have 10 apprentices in the program at the moment.
And how many students do you have enrolled?
So this time, the new one, I have 17 new students in the program.
That's nice.
The old ones are all, like I just had like 7, 8.
I see. See, that's really nice.
Yeah,
And
and
apprentices is absolutely amazing. That's really wonderful.
oh yeah, and they're looking for more. Kite wants more, Lonza wants more, and like now this new batch of students, they are there, and I can recommend them. So I hope, but you never know what's going to happen next year. So that stress is always there.
Yeah.
So we need to have, we're trying to build a pipeline.
Can I ask you more about the high school students for a minute? So,
Please.
and I'm sorry, you said this, I'm processing, sorry. So they are considered interns from the high school's point of view, is that correct?
Yeah. So it's a
Okay.
work-based learning experience that they're coming here for. So it's like 250 hours. So it satisfies all the school's criteria for an internship. Yeah. So that's why they're here all 5 days of the week. Yes.
Okay.
And
very
that's why Amrita
Who's-
gave a wonderful instructor. And
Right,
she
and
is
who's
just
paying
amazing.
for the instructor, or how's this getting funded?
That's a good question. So I had the Perkins grant paying for it now and in the spring, but the school system has recognized the importance, and they've seen how well the students are engaged. So I'm hoping that the school will take it up. I mean, the school system will be able to, take it up and pay for the instructor, and that's how the sustainability will come along. But there is nothing has worked out as yet.
I think it works very well when we work together. I remember me and Savita having so many conversations, and I then randomly asked Eric, and he was like, yeah, I can do it. It's like, okay, well, you're going to drive so far from Baltimore City to Frederick.
Comes all the way.
He's like, I can do it. It's no big deal. Like, all right, well, that works out.
The way he works with the students is he's really inculcating the research passion.
Right.
And it's not
He's
just
right.
doing any experiments, it's real research that they're planning.
Yeah. Yeah, he is that kind of enterprising person. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so next one, I think I'm trying to see if Ben or Heather want to share anything about internship, like starting an internship or thinking about internship or anything related. Any questions that you guys might have, or?
I figured it was my chance to speak. I'll just step in here, Heather. We do have interest in some internships. The program that we're running right now, the bioproduction program, we would have had to start placing students in this coming spring. I had to first remember which semester it was. But again, those students ended up just kind of dispersing. So now with the new cohort just beginning, we are now 3 semesters away from having to. The program that we have is 2 years, 4 semesters, however you want to look at it. The 4th class in the progression in just what we call BIP, bioproduction program, is an externship for credit. So I have been working with some regional companies, just at this point, it's just kind of been keeping them informed of the status of the program. And also just off the top of my head, yesterday, I've been writing emails out to Cecil College's trustee, Mark Mortensen, runs Clean Nanomedicine, connecting with him.
Mhm.
He has interest in placing some of our students. So the interest is there. I've been working just at the discussion level so far, and will always have continued interest when the program expands.
What companies are you looking at, or what, like, is there something nearby in Cecil where?
Being in Cecil, we have most of the connections, and I'm also from Delaware, so full disclosure
Delaware,
there.
of course.
Gore DuPont, just over the border here in Maryland is Toronto, Charles River.
Okay.
Trying to go from memory, yeah. But again, I could supply a list of who I've contacted so far. But again, I'm always interested.
Yeah.
The getting students out into the Rockville area could possibly be an interest out in the research and around the Beltway and things. But the students that we have here are kind of more local, and that's a bit of a haul. I do know, I say it wrong, even though I've got a friend working there. Is it Showway or Way? There's a company in Philadelphia up in the Naval Yards. They are opening a new facility in Middletown, Delaware, which is just 15 minutes away. There's interest there, saying that they're going to need to employ hundreds to possibly 1,000 individuals for a large facility coming up soon there.
And by any chance, do you know this name, like Dr. John McDowell from Delaware Community College? Do you know him by any chance? He would be a wonderful resource to be connected to, since I figured you're from Delaware. So I've never kept it.
Yes. And there are several names in here I need to get in contact with. Also having been part of LSAB, the Workforce Development Task Force. And other than that, our interest then also moves into four-year institutions for transfers to students who want to continue on with bachelor's degrees in the program as well. So articulations are always an interest as well.
Okay. I want to encourage for the Baltimore area, I want to encourage everyone to get in touch with Kate or Dr. Kathleen Gillespie. She's in the meeting. So because she's new and she has a lot of exciting stuff going on, lots of great ideas. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because she's teaching most of the classes, and she's also the program coordinator. I am at present teaching the capstone course. So Kate, if that's okay with you, I can share about the last semester's capstone, like what we did.
Please do.
Okay. So I just wanted to, this is easier instead of remembering all the names, just to share this. For me, it's always easier to just have something in front. So if you see here, this is the internship that we had last semester. We did not have too many students. So it's about just about 8 students. So we had, actually, this is a small company, medical devices company. We had 2 students in Congruence Medical Solution, Amber and Nicole. I believe Nicole is now transferred to College Park, University of Maryland, College Park. We have another company in University of Maryland Biopark. University of Maryland Biopark is, by the way, an incubator space, and it also has other spaces for companies to expand. So one of them is Armor Systems, which makes tourniquets for anyone who is maybe injured on the road, or soldiers, or whatever, army. So there we had 1 intern working there. So there were sort of unusually 3 biomedical engineering sort of internships. And then we had 3 people working in University of Maryland. I believe one of them is hired, that is Dominique. And then we have 2 more who worked for some time at University of Maryland for their internship. So Baltimore City Community College mandates, like the Biotech program mandates, that every student has to do 250 hours of internship to graduate from the program. So we have to do, every single student has to be placed. They can be doing a job, that's fine. Some of them are doing jobs, or they can do an internship. So another internship that we have was at another startup, like Laurie mentioned, and I think you all would agree that smaller companies are much more excited about taking interns and training them so they can get some work done. And one of them is Enable Life Sciences, which recently, I believe, moved from Massachusetts, and they are working with cell therapy, but I don't know if they are really working at this time in therapy, but they were just, culturing cells and making media. And that's what the intern was working on. We also have a partnership at Towson University. It's called Bridges to Baccalaureate program. I'm not sure if many of you have some of those programs, and feel free to mention them. So Bridges to Baccalaureate is a program where our students who are finishing associate's degree would do a summer internship, followed by, they could even continue it during the semester. And they have 1 semester tuition off. So that's an advantage. So a lot of people who take up this internship opportunity not only get to do research in some of the really nice Towson labs, but and they have a fantastic new science building that has recently been made, and I had the opportunity to visit them. They have so that's where one of our students did her internship, and I believe her goal is to transfer to Towson University. So this partnership has been now 17 years, maybe 16, something like that. It's been going pretty good. And the exciting part is Jackie's very much a part of it now. Hartford and Ccbc are also, so there's a mixed cohort of people, 10 interns, 12 interns working together during the summer. And it's great. And then there's a poster session in the end. That's where, and just to keep in mind, Towson University also have a Bridges to Doctorate program, which goes to University of Maryland. And if any of your student ever said master's is so expensive, maybe you should encourage them to go to Towson University Bridges to doctorate program, because the master's is going to be free. And then they get to do the PhD, their, the doctorate degree in University of Maryland labs. So that's something that I wanted to mention. For this year, we have already had 2 interns complete their internship, and there are 3 more to be placed. So one of them is just placed, and then 2 more waiting. Okay. And so that was pretty much from Baltimore City Community College. I think in past, we have been connected with about 30, like overall 30 labs in University of Maryland, as well as companies. And that has really helped our students to get like different jobs, but of course it's in the upcoming area. I also had a question for you guys, which is not related to internship, which I put in the chat.
Wait, can I just ask a question?
Yes.
So for
Yes,
the places they're transferring, BCCC offers an AS degree then?
Yes,
Or
it's
an
Associate of
AA.
Applied Science. Yeah, AAS
No,
degree.
AAS.
AAS, Associates of Applied Science, yes.
How do you have articulations with College Park?
We do
And
not.
Towson, for that matter.
No. Towson also does not accept most of our courses. The places where we are able to successfully, our students are able to transfer successfully. And is one of them is University of Maryland, Baltimore, which has the Department of Medical Research Technology. And the students there do medical lab scientist program, which is one of the best programs, not only in the state, but in the Eastern region. And that program is like almost guaranteed placement, though they don't say it in words, but people get more than 1 job offer. So that's one of the very popular programs that students go to. And the other one is, I believe, UMGC, of course, is the one that also is very accepting of credits. I know they don't take, they not only take 60, they take 70 credits. So if there are people who have done more, so of course they won't take everything. So you're right, Laurie, that way, but there is a little bit of trouble in transfer. For example, our genetics doesn't transfer in Towson. A lot of chemistries have problems, and I would say biotech courses are always problematic. So that's another thing that that has always been an issue.
We may want to do a whole transfer thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So just wanted to tell you that this, I know this seems disconnected, but Robin, who runs the UMGC program at this time, she said that she would be happy to be in this meeting. I wasn't too sure, like maybe we should dedicate a part of the meeting for her. Otherwise, what she's going to listen to our conversation. I wasn't sure if that would be productive. And the other thing is there is someone from Biotech who I recently met. Her name is Meena Chandok, and she joined about 2 months ago. And she was also interested in just listening to those conversations and seeing if that could help her program. So if that's okay, I can invite. I just wanted to ask you guys before I invite.
Mina's brand new at Montgomery College. I tried to tell her these are credit programs, but I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but sure. Yeah. She's involved in the non-credit BioTrack Maryland Earn Grant funded initiative.
Yes, fully aware of that. And one more person that I talked to and I wanted to bring to your attention is a program manager from ArtSys. So we all know ArtSys. And when I saw her, I had never seen anyone from ArtSys on my LinkedIn. Like I have like literally 1,600 people on my connection list. So that's like the first person I ever saw. And I said, hey, we need to meet. And I told her like, this is such a big problem. I know you guys are really focused on gen ed courses and everything, but I want to remind you how important it is to make sure that biotech courses are also, and she said she will keep that in mind and she'll circle back with us. And I said, I'll connect you with everyone because the coordinators are all in different places. So, that would be something just to keep in mind that yes, our background, I was trying to have all these conversations to see if some of these people could be invited. Yeah. So that's, yeah, I cannot hear you.
So can you tell us about the Towson Bridges program? Like how does that work?
Of course. So the Towson Bridges program is basically the application starts at this time. And once the applications are completed by December and selection process is done by January, a cohort of about 12 students, 10 to 12 students from 3 different colleges, which is Hartford, BCCC, of course, has been one of the oldest partners, and then Ccbc are selected. And they all go through a 1-credit Towson course, I believe. That course runs online and teaches about scientific communication, reading skills, and scientific communication. That goes on till the end of semester. That credit can be potentially transferred to Towson, if I remember that correctly. After that, it is followed by a boot camp. That boot camp is 2 weeks in the beginning of it's June 1st week or something like that. And this is followed by a 6 to 8 week internship. The summer, there was some smaller internship, like a period was decreased because of COVID, but they usually had like between 6 to 7 or 8 weeks of internship, ending with a poster presentation. Interns are paid, I believe, something like 32 or 3,600, I can't remember, something like that, for the entire summer. And they are also able to work during the semester or even the year, but they can have only limited work hours, like 10 hours per week, but they do get paid at, I don't know, $14, $15 an hour. So it is a good program because it helps transfer, it shows students while they're in associate degree how to do a bachelor's at Towson. And like I said, we have a connected grant, which is like Bridges to Doctorate. Since we are such close partners to Towson, I'm really passionate about that particular program. And I do want to give Kate an opportunity to say something. Kate, do you have anything to add about the Towson since you recently met Michelle and Elena?
Well, the only thing I have to add is that coming in just a couple months ago, guys, I'm still kind of in the learning phase. So I'm paying more attention. And that's why I'm being quiet, because I'm actually, I'm gathering information. But I will say that we have just submitted the grant for the next year. So that has been successful. And I believe that it has languished for a little bit because of COVID, I think, related, pandemic reasons, but now it's been reinstated. So that's for for 2023. And just like, I really just gave you all the good overview for it. I'm going to be the PI on it. So I'm looking to have some students, there's part of it, they come in and they recruit the students, but I already have given the information to students, and I'm encouraging several of them to consider it now that I've had a chance to sort of assess them. I just actually started teaching. Our 12-week session started on the 19th, so I'm really just a few weeks in, but still, it gets to get an idea. It seems pretty exciting because they do get a chance to get right into doing some research and getting the other training. There'll be some, we're writing as part of also a grant, just to have what BCCC is going to bring to it besides what Ccbc is giving, though I don't think we're going to be the responsible one for doing the training that she's mentioned,
Yes.
or maybe the boot camp. But we are still part of the mentoring, and there's also one of the older faculty here at BCCC. He goes by Paris because he has a very long Greek last name, which I still can't pronounce. But Frederick, he's a microbiology instructor, is also involved in that. So I'm very excited to see where this is going to be going. I have met and have been talking to Elena and Michelle, who are also pretty excited to have this reinstated through BCCC. So we're going to just kind of get that ball rolling.
I wrote the name just in case people were looking.
Mhm.
Yes.
And Bridges to Baccalaureate is an NIH grant opportunity.
Yes.
You need a community college, you need a four-year partner, and
Yes.
you need usually a research component. Montgomery College, not biotech, but the biology folks at Rockville used to do it with NIH.
Mm.
And it was great for students. They spun it as a pre-med preparation,
Right.
and it worked very nicely. Is that what happened with ours pre-pandemic? Is the person who was running it retired, and she had complained enough about the incredible amount of paperwork that I don't think the school has reapplied. Although honestly, I
Right.
wouldn't know. We still don't get out much.
Yeah.
Paperwork. I don't know anything about that. There's always going to be paperwork, and in fact, I'm navigating the coming in new. I'm also there's been like a new vice president of academic affairs that's just come on board at BCCC. So there's also like in where the grants department is also undergoing like an overhaul. So everything is new. So that actually makes it interesting because then we're all just kind of learning what's going to
Together.
be the thing. Yeah, exactly.
We're
What's
all
going to go
learning
forward.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm on that grant either as a mentor or advisor, but I don't know which one because
I think you are actually on as like, because that's what Fred's going to be doing. I think that you are on that, but he's sort of like he's the one that gave his, biosketch and stuff like that. So
they said more the merrier. So they said like
so
include
of course
us.
you're going to be, invited.
And
who else?
So that's a T34, what Kate is mentioning. And the one that I mentioned to you, Bridges to Doctorate, is R25 NIH grant. So these are all the NIH funded money. And of course, not to forget the Innovate Bio, of course, is another big force. So I don't know how closely you're connected. I know that that recently Laurie got a grant like about a year ago, right? Laurie, you got this big grant or something?
We just got it. It's a ATE grant. I'm named as a co-PI, but don't ask me about it. Collins and Padma wrote most of it, and it is to develop a cell and gene therapy course and certificate. And so to that end, yesterday, the curriculum committee approved the course, approved the new certificate, and approved adding the course as an elective in the degree. And
Exciting.
in order to do that, we said, we're offering it in the spring. And this is the part where I usually go, turn off the recording. I'm just going to say it. We said to them, we're offering it in the spring, but the reality is I don't think we're going to offer it until possibly next summer or more likely next fall. But we have to do this because it's got to go through MHAC and, it's got other things that have to happen. So yesterday was, I don't know why it was so stressful, but that was a stressful meeting. God, they asked questions.
How many credits is the certificate?
Yeah, that actually changed yesterday. So I'm going to say that, first of all, the course is a 4-credit course. However, what we did a couple of years ago is one biotech course that everybody would go, yeah, course, lecture, and lab. It's now 2 courses. So Biotech 260 will be the 3-credit lecture for, and the name is something like cell and gene therapy. 261 will be the 1-credit 3-hour lab for the course. And in general, students will take it together. Splitting the courses just gives us flexibility in how the students register. So it's a good thing for flexibility. It's a confusing thing to everybody else at my college. What you ask me? Oh, so the certificate will include, I'm going to name the biotech courses. So it will be our cell culture course, lecture and lab, 3 credits. Our protein biotech course, we divide molecular biology by philosophy and method. That's a 4-credit course. And then cell culture, proteins. our nucleic acid methods course, 4 credits, and the biomanufacturing course, 4 credits. So that only added up to whatever it added up to, 15 credits. And someone on the thing yesterday, that this is part of my angst, pointed out 2 things. One is we had a hidden prerequisite, because the prereq for 200 for the protein course is either general biology or general chemistry, with the reality that for a certificate, it's designed for people who already have a 4-year degree. However, they pointed out 2 things. One was a hidden prereq, which we're not supposed to do. And the second thing was we didn't have enough credits for financial aid. So after a very stressful, brief conversation, we added, I hope, either general biology or general chemistry into that certificate. And again, we were really expecting students would have more than that, but pretty sure that's the way you're going to see it when they announce it. And I'm happy to send you more details as soon as I have them. Literally at this point, I just saw people voting on Zoom, right? And that was it.
Yeah.
And then they
I
said,
mean, what is the best way of sharing resources like Laurie is mentioning? I know, Savita, you have a certificate you would like to share. I know that's a higher level, but what, according to you guys, is the best way of sharing this? Like in meetings like this, or through the Drive, Google Drive that we have, and that is shared with you? Is that okay, or that's okay with most of you? All right. And
it would be fine, but I don't have anything to share yet. So
Yet,
soon I'll have like an advising worksheet and I think we call them advising guides, which is, it's marketing materials, but happy to share. Just don't have it yet.
Yeah, do want to mention here, I was writing random distracting information. I think I wanted to mention to you about Innovate Bio. And so if someone is not familiar, or if you are ever thinking like, how do I actually start writing a grant? Like this seems like such a mammoth process. So I think some of the people in leadership team in Innovate Bio are not only well-versed, but they are also able to provide some kind of mentorship support. Maybe they're, go to some of those meetings or connect with some of those people. And of course, we have resources within our Maryland, that we can share with each other and ask each other to like kind of help each other. But that's also a great resource. Yeah.
And it's meant to connect for ATE, for new people who are applying.
Say that again, sorry.
It's meant to connect, right? They take you through the whole process of writing.
Of course.
And training, yeah.
Yes.
That anybody can apply for.
Right. So if you are ever thinking like, how should I expand my programs? This is the way to go. Sarita, can you please share if high school teachers are also able to connect or make good use of that particular program, or is it mainly for community college?
That is for the community colleges because they have to submit the grant, right? So, but the schools can be involved, like Valerie from Frederick High, she's the co-PI on our grant.
Okay.
Yeah. But it has to be initiated by a community college. Yeah.
Good question from Laurie. And the question is, FCC has great apprenticeship, and does anyone else have?
Sorry, just because we went around on internships and I didn't know if anybody else was doing apprenticeships. The companies are begging for them right now. I don't know. I'm maybe not as pro apprenticeship as the companies are, but if they want them and my students want them, I'm here to make it happen. Anybody else doing them? FCC you have a full-time apprenticeship person who is not you, right, Carla? And that's fantastic.
That's the way to go, I guess, if you really want to make it successful.
Yeah.
Not loading the faculty too much.
And it's not just that. So I sort of started doing it a little bit. It's not just that. You got to read the freaking law. These are contracts. You need legal involved. I mean, this is, it's a big deal.
It's a lot. Even if doing MOUs is a lot, when you do MOUs, you're like literally like that. And, when I launched two certificate programs at Baltimore City Community College, I remember that I used to say to people, well, I know you think I'm the leader here, I'm the coordinator here, but I'm actually the servant as well. Like I'm just ordering and following the orders, everything, like literally from, teaching, making curriculum and whatever it involves. So any other questions or thoughts from Cindy, Heidi, or Heather, and anything about like how can we expand or what can we do or anything that you want to brainstorm? Like it doesn't have to be an internship, anything that you want to ask.
I guess I feel like my internships, as I listen to you, are different maybe than your internships.
Yes.
Partially because we really are, although we call ourselves biotech, we really are more of that molecular biology towards medical school kind of feel to what our kids are doing. But also I have a whole, like, do you have curriculum associated with these internships? I have to like get them all through assignments that have grades, and it's like herding cats. Everybody is going in different directions. Is that what it looks like in your institutions?
That's a great question. I'll let others answer that first.
So as I said, ours is like a new internship that we just started, and we don't want to stick to grades. It's not about grades and lectures. It's more about the hands-on and, inculcating the passion in the students. So that's what we are focusing on in our internship, and especially because it's high school. So we want to let them explore and, discover what they want to do. I mean, of course, depending on what we can do in the lab.
And it's non-credit, right? No.
That is, yes, ours is non-credit.
Non-credit,
Yes.
yeah.
No, but they are getting 2 high school credits.
2 high school,
from the
okay,
school
not in
system.
the college side.
Yeah, not in the college system, yes.
I mean, our kids are getting three GT high school credits. So
That's awesome.
we make them write. I let them write research papers for me, and then they read the journal articles and write those things up. And
well, if they do something nice, that you should send it to Lori, because she has this wonderful
I wrote that down. Yes,
Yeah,
I wrote
yeah,
that down for sure.
Yeah, she's been doing it for so many years, and you could not find a better person to advocate for that. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course, we went online. There is no more printed journal.
Oh, Lori. You know something? I thought I recognized your name. Hello, Lori. Again. This is where the thing, because I was as a reviewer for the BIOS too. Remember you reached out to me?
That's your
me.
name looks familiar.
Oh, yeah, that's me. That's I'm using my formal name, Kathleen Gillespie. So
that's me.
Yeah,
that's me. Hey, you want another job? I'm trying to retire from this one.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. Kate has been doing a lot in the last 2 months. Kate has been really up and running and making the program run. So.
I've been working with a copier. It's one of those you get here, it's like all these like minutia just comes running down, and because I'm very good at stamping out fires, I've been doing a lot of that and herding cats. If anybody likes cats, though, it's very hard when you don't have the tuna fish, but it has to happen. That's my joke.
How many cat people are here? I don't have a cat.
Lots of cat. I have just like 4 cats to take care of this weekend. It's been interesting just kind of getting involved in this level. And like I'm saying, I'm still on a fact-finding mission to know what's also going on, and the things that also are going on at Biopark is going to be very significant, since they're going to be launching a brand new building is going to be built called 4MLK.
Yeah.
And they're having the groundbreaking of it like next week, right there at the corner of Fayette and Martin Luther King, just like a huge facility. So that's pretty exciting. And it should be a nice cornerstone there downtown, or rather, part of like the whole Biopark complex, and we're going to be a part of that as BCCC, as far as getting into those new buildings, which would be wonderful. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot starting to go on. So I'm just trying to kind of keep things together. Why teaching? Because that's always kind of job one, right? Because you got to teach too. And just see what else is going on with the students.
The Biopark website is really old, but there is one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look in a minute.
Actually, Biopark is a good. Sorry. Biopark has actually a good website. Not the BCCC Biopark website is not that good.
It's being updated now,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be getting more information. There are going to be, press releases and things like that coming out by November. So that's kind of in progress right now.
Cindy's having a question for Laurie.
Yeah, I'll answer the question. And I was also trying to answer the question, how are our internship structured? So the answer to would bios publish high school, the answer is yes, but, and the but is it has to be written up pretty decently. It does go out for review. I am willing to, I rewrite papers all the time, but I will not rewrite it from the ground up. So you can go, I'll put a website in a minute, but you can go look at the requirements. And we have more than one type. We do have a sort of what I did on my summer vacation. There's something called the Students Forum, and that really doesn't have guidelines. And so if someone wants to say, hey, internships are great, and I learned stuff, and I want to highlight one really cool thing I did, that can be written up for publication. But if it's a study, then we got a format. And we are, I like to tell people, we'll publish almost anything, but we don't publish crap, forgive me. What I mean is, it's got to be controlled, and you can't over conclude. So and we'll publish negative results. You must conclude based on your evidence and lay it out very, just in plain English, just lay it out for your reader. Okay. Mm-hmm. You asked about internships. We have many different formats depending on how we structured it. So some of our internships, we have a scientific research course, SCIR 297, which is a 2-credit course. And the college is talking, or the STEM folks are talking about maybe mixing that up so you can do 1 credit or 2 credits or 3 credits. Right now it's just 2 credits, and I think you can take it up to 3 times, which probably doesn't happen that often, but anyway, that has a syllabus, and so there would be something handed in, a grade would be issued, and you'd earn college credit. We've also done it, and for pay, you still need a person, which is usually me, to kind of oversee the whole thing, but without credit, now we're just kind of counting hours, making sure things are working out okay, communicating with people. And I feel like we even have another way to do it, but I can't remember what it is right now.
I do want to add about BCCC 4-credit course called Bio 199. It's called Individual Study in Biology. So that 4-credit course, what we do is like every week there is an assignment, and sometimes that assignment is like the first week the assignment is just introduction and tell your hours, but it keeps changing. For example, the second week, the assignment would be submit your resume based on this kind of resume, so make it in the right format. Another week, it's like find a job that you think would be the best for you and write a cover letter, and then I correct them on that one. So they have to work on those things. And then there is another session, there is another week where they are doing mock interviews with me, which is typically, when they go for internships, they do have to always do mock interviews, and I grade them on that. And then there is weekly report due. Every week they must submit what they have been doing, and that is also graded. So most of these are like 10 to 20 points, and that would contribute to about 400 points. And then there is also, at the end, there is like some bigger chunks, because we cannot have anything, like the college rule is nothing more than 20%. So we have a presentation, which is a 100-point presentation, which is a culmination of all their like capstone work, in which the marks are distributed in points. Like, for example, there is a title submission date. There is everything needs to be done in a timely fashion. They need to submit their PowerPoint about 5 days before, so I can verify it, because when the presentation is happening, it's in person, and a lot of people are invited. So there were like, last time there were like 30 people in the room. There are people from college who are there. There are people from companies who are there. So you better like do a good job. And then there is a reference or recommendation from the company saying like, hey, was this person professional? If not, then of course they cannot get an A grade. So, I mean, it's usually a lot of people get an A grade, but there are still rules to it. And there are things like we are expecting a very professional presentation at the end of the semester. And hopefully that is something that sometimes they even get hired and they share all that information. So it is structured, but it's weekly, only so much, because every week they're working between 12 to 15 hours per week. So we cannot expect them to spend more than 30 minutes. So it's structured so that it's 30 minutes to 1 hour per week. And
that's not actually too far from what we do after boot camp. So we have a nice, almost a third, we just finished boot camp, and now the kids are going to start going out, and I see them once a week and a coordinated, pulling off one piece at a time how to present their research in the context. I'd love to see your curriculum if anybody.
Oh yeah, I would. We can
Lori,
sit down and share if that helps. Yeah, and also in the end, like sometimes if the students don't get placed, there is a backup bioinformatics curriculum, so they can just kind of go with the bioinformatics curriculum and do something and present, because sometimes people are in an initial stage, so that also helps. Yeah. Okay, so I think we have something on the chat. I'm trying to see. I see. Yeah. Okay. I see. Good information, Laurie. Yeah, it's the Tri-Beta Society. Journal,
I was
right?
just typing Towson.
Yeah,
I believe Towson is the only University of Maryland campus that has a Tri-Beta, Beta Biological Honor Society chapter. But if your students are transferring there, they may go into it. And just to be clear, BIOS and Tri-Beta have absolutely nothing to do with biotech. That came with me to this job, and I've continued to do it. And I love undergraduate research, but my students don't really do undergraduate research. They get biotech jobs.
Yeah. Okay, so we, I think, covered most of the things. I wanted to show you guys something real quick, and I will share this, so I don't think it will take more than 5 minutes to share. So I was just trying to, because we are just starting with the internship season, it's kind of nice to have things in perspective, and I should have included high school as well, because NIH does have a high school program. But like Laurie already mentioned, there is a community college summer enrichment program. I'm just posting stuff from last year, and I will, from my training office itself, will get like current information very soon on when it is starting, when the applications will start. But I believe it's November sometime, like November 1st week or something. And so then the notifications come by April. And just a reminder that NIH CC Day is on November, like Community College Day is on November 22, but there's lots of good information for high school. So it's a great way to connect if you wish to. And if you have the time, it's a Tuesday, it's a working day. They also have skill blitz, by the way. They have information on like how to do this or how to do that, some of the current topics, and that might be also extremely helpful for students. So maybe you just want to look at the agenda and say, like, I can only afford 30 minutes, so my student can attend this part of the community college day. I think Laurie might have mentioned this, I'm not sure. Community college internships, it's a DOE lab experience. There are 16 participating DOE labs. So it is, these internships are, I think they are already up, and the deadlines are, there is a deadline on January 10th, which, which is for the summer internship. And like I said, I'll share this with you. I also was looking around, and I found there was a Hopkins has summer internship, which I believe is open to the community college students as well. It's going to open soon, and there are lots of different labs which people can apply for and see if they're getting. Again, this is in Baltimore, so I mean, of course, you need to do the trek, but whatever, it's worth. If that's something that you want to put in a resume, then it's worth it. And I know there is no Baltimore City school teacher here, but I do just want to let you know that Hopkins has, I would say that if someone was applying for a Baltimore City school, they have a better chance of getting in Hopkins and with some of these internships. That's what I keep hearing. That's what I keep. And as a person in Howard County, that's what I hear all the time. Cindy, you know this already. REUs, I don't know how many of your students ever apply to REUs, because it involves going to different places, but there's like plethora of internships which are available through, they are competitive, of course, but there are like so many internships available through the NSF-RUs that, it's not even possible to list them on this page. So, you should take a look. It's in all fields. You could share it with your colleagues, maybe there are internships in astrophysics, chemistry, math, like whatever, like this, like everything. I also wanted to mention this because this is something I always note at the end when it's like almost about the time. So there is also a community college innovation challenge. I'm pretty sure you have heard about this particular challenge, but I'm not sure if you have ever, participated. And I was trying to get it like started, but we couldn't quite do it in that time. But this is I was looking at that, and Ccbc actually does have a team which I was really surprised to see. Ccbc has a innovation challenge team, and there is 12 winner teams, and what all they have done. Some projects in biofuel engineering, they're all different projects, and you can take a look and see if you guys are already doing some research. I mean, you may already be doing enough stuff for an innovation challenge, who knows?
What's the state of CCBC Biotech right now?
CCBC and BCCC had an agreement about 20 years ago, I don't know how many years ago, that CCBC will run the MedTech program and BCCC will run the Biotech program. So CCBC does not have a biotech program to my knowledge.
Oh, okay.
And I think there was some kind of I don't know if it's an official agreement, but that's how I heard it. So CCBC runs a fantastic medtech program and generates all the medical lab technicians, and we run the biotech program. I mean, BCCC. So yeah, I mean, this is something to think about because all these things suddenly start coming up in February, March. So if we have all these things in mind already, then maybe we'll be better prepared. That's pretty much what I wanted to share. And we had yeah.
I can think of at least two more things.
Okay, let me write that down. Yeah.
So Nimble, it's
Yes.
not an internship, but they've had some week-long or 2-week-long Nimble experience, and they put out a call every now and then. I do not know if it's open to high school students. I know it's open to college, including community college students. And NIST, the National Institute for Standards and Technology, has a SURF program for college students, including community college students. I'm sure they have something for high school students. I just don't know what it's called.
Okay.
There is.
I don't remember it's called what either. They definitely have one though.
Yeah, but there's also really, truly a strategy to get one of these NIST things because they're highly, highly competitive. My husband works at NIST, so I know the deal. The student, and it better be a really good student, the student needs to take the initiative, contact someone at NIST directly. And so if the student and the NIST mentor already have a thing going, the NIST mentor creates because NIST just sends out an email. I'm a guest researcher, so I get these emails. They just send out an email and go, hey, anybody want to host a project? You want an intern? And we're supposed to respond to that. I don't, obviously, but we're supposed to respond to that. And a lot of the time it's because they've already been contacted for someone. So that's the big trick for NIST.
Lori, for Nimble, we can contact Russ Reed and ask, right? Do you know Russ? Do you know Russ or
I know him, but yeah. I don't know if he's in charge of the Nimble experience or not.
I see.
But
okay,
sure.
yeah, he can redirect us to the right person because he's such a wonderful person. I mean, all the people Innovate Bio Leadership is just like amazing people. So I mean, if you get a chance to connect with them, don't lose. I did want to mention one more thing, and that is, guys, speakers. If you ever need speakers, let's circulate this information among us, like, because if you need like virtual speakers or I don't know, like really like face-to-face, you can share that information. Like a lot of people know a lot of people here. I'm not saying I'm the only one. I'm pretty sure, you all know some wonderful people. Please, make sure to like circulate that information. Like I'm just saying, like, since I've been at NIH, we do career spotlights and highlighting different careers for postdocs. But I mean, these most of these are applicable even to undergrad. A lot of people are from within Maryland or something. We had a wonderful speaker from actually NIST. That's what reminded me, Samantha. I can't remember the last name. She is a product of Maryland, and she was the keynote speaker for Baltimore City Community College Symposium, and she did a fantastic job last year. It was a virtual meeting, of course. But if you're ever looking for something like that, or to inspire your students, that's something also we can exchange information, or you can just put it in the drive, a list of people. Okay, I see some messages here.
I also have something that is not related to biotech, but is a community college thing. And this is a long paragraph that I just copy pasted, but what's happened is, so Montgomery College, I think, is the only, maybe unionized isn't the right word, the only collective bargaining institution or something. Maryland law changed, and I've been asked to share this with everybody I know at other community colleges. So copy and read that paragraph, please.
So are you guys still able to be or I haven't read it fully, but are you still, no?
I'm not the right person to ask questions about it. I've just been asked to share it. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to see some community college instructors soon. So
yeah, I'm going to copy all this chat and put it at the end of the notes so that everyone has access to the chat as well. Okay, well, I hope the meeting is productive. I want to ask if there are any other questions and any other things. Otherwise, we should decide the date and time, at least tentatively, for the next meeting, which would be not very soon. We can do it in like next year sometime. Would you guys be up for 2 meetings, one virtual, maybe in February or March, and then meet together in May? That's it. Like, you only have 2 or 3 meetings, but it's really useful to be able to connect. Yeah, so is February end a good time? I don't think a lot is happening. There is no spring breaks happening during February. So one of the second or third week in February, which is like in the middle of nowhere, we can try to meet maybe. Any thoughts or others? And
don't make it Saturday the 18th. I've got a play. I just looked.
oh, not February 18th. Okay. Wow, you are booked far ahead. Yeah, I think March and April do get busy. So maybe either 11th or 25th, something like that. Yeah. Okay, we can do that. And then that would be the target date that I will ask, like Chris or someone else who is willing to talk, to share their perspective on what could help. And I've been meeting other people, so I don't know, like I do not know if Chris is the best person to talk, but someone who has an understanding of industry as well as workforce would be a nice person too. And I know that's like an I-270 corridor. There are other regions of Maryland that would benefit from other people, but we can also keep like inviting them in different meetings. Okay. Well, I think we are, do you guys think we are done and we can just kind of save 12 minutes? I don't know. I was always up for saving some time. The gift of time. All right.
What about
yes,
focusing on a better transfer pathway? Because that is something we definitely need. Otherwise, our programs will die.
Yeah, here is the thing. When we discussed the last meeting, this is what happened. What we discussed was that the transfer pathway is extremely important, but I think there were some complications, and I'm going to stop the recording now.